check on the building system. You just who's the main person that needs to see what's going on here, because you want to see where I'm clicking here. Okay, so we start with Internet Explorer.
Just to back up really quick, can you tell the guys what we're actually doing here? What the system
is? This is the BMS system for this building right here. It's looking over 9 air handler units that are up on the roof and a couple of exhaust fans, room temperatures, stuff like that, scheduling. Basically, you'll be able to log in and see in real time what's going on in the building. So you'll be able to see temperatures and kind of help troubleshoot. If there's an issue with one of the air handlers, you got say it's too much heat or it's too cold. You can kind of take a look real quick and see what's going on, outside temperatures, damper positions, stuff like that. Just kind of helps you out.
So there's no individual thermostats in the rooms?
There are individual thermostats in it, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be going over that too. There's a floor plan when we get into the graphic side.
Does it control the dampeners?
It does not control the dampers. There's a lot of what happens with the units is internal.
Yeah.
So mostly it's a monitoring, scheduling on and off, and setting temperatures. Okay, so first what you want to do is you want to log into Internet Explorer. And this would be like logging into like a router. And it's already set up here. The IP address for it is here. What you want to do is we have some preset user and login names. And what comes up is your beginning user interface here and status bars. So right here we see an alarm. So let's take a look at that. The outside air damper alarm, which just came on. So what we want to do now is take a look at that. This alarm would come on if the outside air damper drops below a minimum set point that the air balance designed it for. So they set it on the roof. Yes.
Can you tell everyone what the term damper means?
Outside air damper?
Yeah.
It's a louvered mechanism that opens and closes to provide outside airflow into the building, basically fresh air. You're going to have a minimum damper position in order to keep CO2 levels down, so people don't get dizzy with too much CO2 in the air. So the air balancer set a minimum position, and then I wrote in code that if it drops below that minimum position, then it's going to set off an alarm. So in that minimum position to its maximum position, trainers told me that those outside air dampers will not go any further open than 50%.
Are these the same dampeners that in case of a fire they'll shut down all the air?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't want outside air coming in. Okay, so
We'll kind of review that in the next thing with the fire alarm going.
okay. So with an alarm, you want to go over here. Whoever's logged in, you're going to acknowledge that alarm, and then you're going to want to. We can kind of jump ahead right here because this is the status bar right here. This is right here. This is the alarms. These are unacknowledged. These are faults. These are out of service and device failures. Now, in the points, which we're going to come up to here along with the graphics, some points are out of service. Train doesn't allow everything. So some things you're not going to be able to command, because if you do, then you can mess up the system. So they're just there for you to see what's going on with the unit as far as for diagnostics. And if there's a device failure, this would also acknowledge here you get an alarm here. If there's a fault, if there's an issue with one of the points, then you're going to get a fault alarm. And then, of course, right here, because the outside air damper dropped below its minimum position, this alarm has gone off.
Okay, at what point, when you're going through the diagnostics, would we call your company or another company?
I'm sorry?
Say that something's wrong with the system.
Mostly if it's on the mechanical side, then you call ResTech. And they would come out and take a look at what's going on with it. If something's not operating correctly, Generally, we usually get called first to make sure it's not an automation issue, and then we'll go through, check our system, and then we'll find out whether it's a mechanical issue or not.
Okay. So for that example, you got an alarm for the damper. What do we do?
Well, I get a hold of Vic and let him know that this damper is kind of acting up.
So your company will let them know?
Yeah, I'll call him today and let him know this damper's dropping below its minimum position. If we go to see graphics here and look at Air Handler 2, there's the drop-down menu, the tree right here, and this gives you all our graphic pages from Air Handler AC Unit 1 to AC Unit 9, the exhaust fans, and the floor. So let's take a look at Air Handler 2. Okay, so it just takes a second for the points to come up. What we're seeing right here is the outside air damper is at 8%. So that may be, looks like here, it's lower than the minimum position. Other things we can look at here, we can see if we're in heating or cooling, we can see the speed of the fan. We can see if there's a failure with the fan, if it's operating normally, or if there is an issue with it. We also have the smoke alarm. We can see in this particular room, which serves room 123, which is right here, we can see that there's 450 parts per million CO2, and it's 75 degrees in there. We can look at the outside air temperature, which is 76, and the outside air relative humidity, which is 44.
Todd, you probably went over this, but they can do this remotely too, right?
They can do this remotely. Right now, I don't know how everything's set up. This is plugged in with a switch here to the web server, which is in this locker cabinet here. Once it's tied in and IT sets up their network with it, then all you'd have to do is punch in that IP address, and it would take you to the web server page, and then you could sign in.
So we can do that from any location, right?
Yes, sir.
He said that's your office.
As long as you have access to the intranet here, because that's the whole thing. You have to get into the intranet here and then go to the web server.
And who's ever setting up your internet, set that up.
Okay, so now we can also take a look at the entire building here and take a look at some temperatures. So let's say in the basketball court area here we have a couple of temperature sensors. It's about 73 degrees in there, and it's roughly 75 all the way around everywhere else. Except for here, it's about 72.
So
It's usually a little bit cooler.
during the hot days of the year in the summertime, when the gym will start getting warmer, it'll constantly feed us air from the outside when they're using the gymnasium.
Well, yeah, it's depending on like outside air temperature. The outside air dampers are going to modulate. So in order to bring in more fresh air, free cooling, then yeah, they'll open up to their maximum position, and then the DX will of course bring down the temperature even more. Okay, let's see. Let me go over. So in the tree structure here, just close this up. So we have what you see, LFSP.PXCC01. That is that controller in there. And then you hit the down arrow to open up the tree. And what you have here is you have local points, which are local to that controller. And then you have on your MSTP FLN, you have points for the rooftop units. So if we go, let's see, we want to look at the points in rooftop unit 1. We can look at the analog points, inputs. Open this up a little bit. we can see the cooling capacity status. This is number 1, so we can also go here.
Okay.
So this is the point information. Right here we have, again, the object name, cooling capacity status, and a description here to give you a little information about the point. This is indicating the capacity being utilized. Right now, it's, because the temperature is satisfied, it's at 0%. We also have, let's see, a bunch of other points that Trane has supplied for the system that we can see. You can see the space temperature, which is what we're seeing here. And this is what the temperature is currently using for control. The event state right now is normal. Now, inputs you can't command. Okay? What's nice about BACnet is that, and this is a particular system that we're using right now is BACnet. It's you can't just like change the temperature on the T-stat here, and a lot of buildings, people will try to make changes to the temperature that they're seeing to try to control what's going on in the space, and that creates problems. Nice thing about with BACnet is that you're locked out. You can't try to change this temperature. Okay. Now, if you go to an analog value.
So what's not good about not being able to change the temperature?
Well, okay, so say you see a temperature of 75 degrees, but you say you want it cooler in there, right? And you change it to 68 degrees, just for instance. Well, the system would think that it was 68 degrees in there. Now, you could use something like that, making a point virtual, and tricking the system into thinking it's cooler in a room in order to force it to go into heat.
You're talking about not setting the temperature of what you want. You're talking about
right, not setting a set point.
Reading.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So if somebody said, "Oh, I want it colder in there," and they set to 68, well, you're going to put it in heating.
Right.
And then you're going to cause more problems.
Right.
And then you're going to say, "Oh, well, this system's broken." You need to get on the horn and call somebody about this. And then somebody's going to come in here and they're going to wind up charging you a lot of money to go click release. This is what you did. So that's one of the nice features with BACnet is you can't accidentally make that mistake unless you make a virtual point and do a little programming and then you can.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
If it's remote, if they get it all set up, let's say it's remotely, and there's a problem, can they call you and you can look at it remotely without ever coming out here too?
What I would need is a password, like maybe IT could set me up with a password to get into the intranet, and then yes, I could take a look.
That way you can be like.
It's HTML, yeah. It's on the internet, so I would just need internet access, and which I have on my computer anywhere I'm at, and then yeah, I could just log in. That's no problem.
That's probably a good way to do it.
Can you make changes?
I can make changes too. Okay, so
Yeah.
we have.
Set at 68.
Say you want to make a change for your filter runtime hours. So at present, right now, this point is actually disabled. You can take that off. Actually, this one's out of service. Some points that Trane has, they're out of service, so we don't have the ability to make any changes to them. That's a license requirement through Trane, and you would have to pay extra money to have certain things opened up. But just for instance, if I wanted to change the hour set point, I could go up or down with it and then command that point, and then it would tell me that there was a success. But because it's disabled, this one's not going to work anyways. Let's see if we can find one. Okay, so we have also some binary inputs. These are for diagnostics. So these are going to be your friend in a lot of way. So right here, this one's system control status. Right now, the present value is under BAS control. This is on the top of the binary inputs. You don't want to change this. This is not one that you want to mess around with. Compressor lockout status. This is in the description. One or more compressors are locked out with no diagnostic. Now, right now, the present value is normal. If there is an issue with this, then what you're going to have is an alarm. Okay. There's also supply fan configuration. This one's grayed out right now, so you can't change it. It's continuous. Let's see. We have fan failure, which is also a point that we put up on our graphics. Let you know if there's an issue with the BFD. Well, there's only 2 BFDs. There's 2 large units, 3 and 5, that have a BFD each. The other, it's a variable frequency drive. So basically, you have from 0 to 100%. You have with basically 0 to 60 hertz, or however they have their setup. The 0 to 100% actually, I think, was the 0 is about 30 hertz here. I'd have to double check on that figure with Westech, but I believe that was about their minimum speed. So it's about roughly 50%. So even when it says that it's at 0 here, it's going to be running at its minimum speed.
What's the drive?
The drive?
It's a BFD, right?
Right.
Whatever it was. What does that do?
That controls the speed of the fan for your air through the air
That's what I
handling
thought
unit.
it said.
Yeah.
And everything is already set the way we recommend it to be set, correct? This is just to learn because you need to adjust everything.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, we've gone through commissioning
You catch that
with the
figure.
engineers
Okay.
and everything's set.
Right?
so we need to go through that part of this presentation. The settings and the assumptions. We weren't part of that setup.
As far as the commission,
Right. So the time of day, the temperatures during the time of day, when it comes on and off and stuff like that. That's
yeah,
important.
the points that we put in, we already did through commissioning, through our submittal that was given to us.
We were given some notes to give
Now,
times.
okay, we also have.
We need to go through those assumptions because that wasn't part of what that never went to the client.
Okay.
They want to know what it's
So we just need to know what it
So
says.
like on Monday, what times to go on, what times to go
Right.
off.
Gotcha.
Right.
If you could let us know what.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So, okay, let's go to override. Let's see, so overriding points. All right. So, let me go to.
Any question for Sean? Vic's here.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Just let you know.
Sorry.
I think you had a question for Vic that Vic needs to answer.
What's that?
I don't know. Vic's here. Just let you know
Oh.
he's here.
Well, we can do that later.
Okay.
That'll take some time. Okay, so we can also do a point log report. We want to check our panel. Let's just see what analog input. MSTP. So we can do an alarm, and right now we're going to check for points in alarm.
The point log report's going to show what the current settings are.
No, it's going to give a report on the point right now. Okay, what all? Okay, so this is giving a report on. Okay, sorry, I got ahead of myself and started clicking on things too quickly. So this one right here is like, say, for exhaust fan 2 room temperature. Right here, it's going to give you a report and let you know it's 76.6 degrees in there. I believe that's one of the like electric rooms or whatever. Now, what you can do is if you have this set up with a printer, or you can export this to a CSV file and call it, let's see, point report, and you save it as it's going to save as a CSV automatically.
Yeah. I think the question that Tom was asking more was what's it currently set at now? What times it turn on? What times it turn off? Is it on and off on Sunday? Because some of our other products were closed, we're off on Sunday, and we're actually open on Sunday.
Okay.
As you follow our operating hours, we're open from 8 to 10. You know, Monday
And
through
how do
Saturday.
we change it?
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's going to be important.
All right. To change the schedule, you need to go to the Create Edit drop-down file.
So can we look at the current schedule before we change it, or we just?
You
go-
can.
Yeah.
You can just go to Scheduling
Okay, great.
and take a look there.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. It's editor. One second. Okay. Apparently, I've lost my schedule. Okay, so create a new schedule.
It seems like it would be really important for us to get a copy of the present schedule, and then if we wanted to add on to it.
Yeah, I have the schedule backup on my computer. For some reason, it's not on here. So the units are probably just running 24/7 right now. So I'm going to have to add that back in.
Was your schedule part of the submittal?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, so in setting up a schedule,
Johnny, are you able to tell them what's set up right now?
something happened to my schedule, so I'm going to have to put a new one together. I have a backup of it.
Okay.
So I'm going to put that back in after we're done with the class.
We can
But
show
right,
that, yeah.
right now I'm just going over setting up a schedule
Okay.
so that we can, so I can show them how they can
Okay.
put it up.
Let's set it up right now.
Okay. Okay. So what we want to do is set up a range, and so we just want to go forever.
You could set a schedule for a week or a day or a month or a full year, right?
Right.
It looks pretty user friendly. Just drop down calendars. And what's the wild card? Is that like an exception to the rule?
Yeah, you're not really supposed to use the wild cards for that.
Don't use it, that's fine.
We're
Don't
gonna
use the wild
save-
card.
Sorry.
You got more room back there, someone wants to come over here.
Weekly schedule. So, multiple. We're gonna add in Monday, Tuesday. Is there exceptions on the weekend? I don't recall.
Sunday, we have Monday through Saturday. We're open from 8 to 10, and then Sunday we're open from 10 to 6. But we want to have an hour before and half an hour after for staffing.
Okay, so Monday through Friday from 8 to
Actually,
4.
Monday through Saturday.
Monday through Saturday.
We're open 8 to 10. We want to have like an hour before or half an hour before and after for staffing as well. So 7:30 to 10:30.
Okay, so we're gonna set that value to on.
You're at 7.
Oh, weird. 7:30. On Sunday we're open at 10. Right?
I thought it was 9.
So we'll do 8. So we'll do 8
And then
7.
Yeah.
Roughly right by here.
7 to 4 Monday through Saturday. And then huh?
7 to 10:30.
7 to 10:30. So basically, you want systems shut down by 11 p.m.
10:30 is fine. We'll be leaving.
10:30?
Yeah. The only person should be here is 10:15.
Okay. And so at that point, you want the value to be 0. So okay, so Sunday, what time in the morning?
We'll be at 8 to 7.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's right. It has to be an exception.
Fire alarm?
So So
The new time? Yeah, not to do that yet. That's today, right? And then the controls for the backboard, they're all keyed the same here. These are keyed the same here, different key. Yeah, and the brochure for the lights.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. But, yeah, I just looked at the brochure. Okay, now it makes sense.
That's the biggest one for training and the sound system.
Uh,
And easier, so as soon as we get that air brake around, the sound system.
great.
that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, that's all right.
Sorry, it's been a while since I've been in here. Oh,
We don't have anybody in
And
there
then
contracted out.
327.
Well, right now, he does all the parts, but we are looking for an HVAC. Nobody yet. We have some recommendations in the area. Recommendations, because we have a big, the 1 year warranty, but there's still payments that we have to do.
Alright, that.
So, it's on us, but you guys have your payments during that period. So we need to find something to do.
Zero.
Yeah.
Two.
So, yeah,
On
we
you.
have to find something.
Understand?
I mean, it's pretty user friendly. It's just, you know, I figure why I would jump in there.
What's that?
I figure why I would jump in there.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know that you would.
Yeah, I don't think it would be
I
big
don't
calls.
know that you ever really would.
Yeah.
Once we get somebody
The
else.
most important thing for us is going to be make sure the schedule's where we want it to be.
Right.
And, yeah, information is called for.
And I guess the good point too is you understand what it's doing, what it can, what
Well,
it's,
we know
what
what
it's capable
we know what it
of.
is.
You know what it's capable of
We
doing.
know what it is. And you know these computers don't touch this.
Oh,
blah, blah,
okay.
blah.
You know that there's a problem that you know that, hey, I go to the computer and they're probably going to tell me, it's going to tell me what that problem is. So at least you know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see if he's ready, and if he's ready, maybe we'll do that. Sean,
Yes, sir.
we're thinking while you're doing that, we may go to the next training
Okay.
and then come back. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that's fine. I need to talk to Vic anyway.
Okay.
Great.
All right. Well, hang on a minute. Well, let me make sure he's ready.
Squeeze through.
Please. Please, right?
Isaiah,
Isaiah.
Yes.
Isaiah.
like the Bible.
Like the Bible. I thought Iglesias was the Bible.